The year was 1983, and Smyrna was a small bedroom community conveniently located close to Atlanta. But in some neighborhoods, the small town atmosphere made you feel as if you were a million miles away from the big city. Sarah Sentel Scott was a Smyrna native and raised her own family here and enjoyed a career in the insurance industry. Her daughter Elaine Davis recalls when she first started to notice changes in her mother's vision.
She had perfect vision as I'm growing up as a child, no problems. No problems as when I was a teenager. It wasn't until her 30s that she started hitting trash cans and hitting a drawer when she'd get up from her desk. So her side vision was going. Side vision went first, then night blindness developed, and then she was finally diagnosed, and I'm grown at this time, with RP, retinitis pigmentosus.
Discovering there were no local services available for individuals who were visually impaired and that she would have to travel to downtown Atlanta for help, she sprang into action, establishing what was then called Cobb Services for the Blind and later became Blind and Low Vision Services of North Georgia. In 1993, Sarah Scott was featured as one of TBS's Super Citizens of the Week. This archival footage lets us hear from Sarah.
I was determined to do something. I'm the person that's got to put something in action.
She enlisted the help of a dedicated group of local residents and civic leaders to create the new agency. Her daughter recalls the early days.
She spent a lot of time talking with people, trying to get someone to start an agency. And then all of a sudden one day she said, well, okay, I'm that person. And so she did. She was told no by a lot of people. It can't be done, can't be done, can't be done. She'd call me up and she'd say, well, somebody else said no, but somebody else said yes. And then it happened. It was like amazing. And I can remember Mother and my father. My father was my mother's right hand. He was the chauffeur. He was quiet, but he was the one who carried her everywhere. And I can remember them opening envelopes, and there might be a $5 bill in it, a $10 bill, change, and that would pay the electric bill. And Mother would go speak at churches, and she'd come back, and there might be $50 to pay the utilities. But it was purely my mom and my dad who did a lot in the very beginning. Lots of volunteers, too, to help her.
One of those volunteers was local businesswoman Charyn Darby. Former VRS director Joan Stewart recalls Charyn's many contributions.
She was so devoted to the city of Smyrna, and she had a small business here in North Georgia Trophy. She was recruited to the board, I think either by Sarah Scott or Sue Griffin, I'm not sure which one. But she was chair of the board for at least 6 or 7 years. I had her for 2, but prior to that. And she was so passionate about the clients and the services that were offered. She was and is the organization's largest donor, continues to be through her, first her estate and now the Charyn Darby Foundation. Some gifts she gave publicly, like she gave the Giving Tree when we felt strongly about donor recognition. So she underwrote that. When I was only here about, I think, a month, and I mentioned to her that we had a archaic phone system where it did not take voicemail, and she gave me a check to redo the whole phone system. So behind the scenes and even up front, when we did the coming out of the strategic plan with the agency's name change, we needed a new sign for South Cobb Drive. And the agency really didn't have the money to do a lighted sign. We wanted a sign that would be lighted. And actually, it was the last meeting she ever attended before she passed away. At that meeting, she volunteered to underwrite the sign. So it was like if there was a need, she did it. She felt strongly about the future foundation with, you know, ongoing gifts. When we created the first race, Race to Sea, she was a major donor. She's been the presenting sponsor of the race now, I think for 3 years, and continues to do. Through the foundation, she underwrites low vision evaluation days for people who are underserved. as important as Sarah Scott was to the creation of the agency and the vision for what this agency could be in North Georgia, as important as Sarah Scott was, that's how important Charyn Darby was in terms of financial management and financial gifting.
The agency, which started out in 1983 serving individuals in Cobb County, has now grown to cover more than 30 counties in Northwest Georgia. We asked Sarah's daughter what she thinks her mom might think of the agency today.
She would be very impressed with our current director of Charyn. She loves strong women. She thought strong women were wonderful to lead, and so she would admire what she has done. She would be grateful for the board of directors. She was always recruiting board of directors, beauty shops, grocery stores, banks, churches, wherever she went. She always had an application and information about the agency. I think she would be astounded by the outreach that we're doing. That was a dream of hers to go into North Georgia. I think she'd be happy with that. She'd probably tell us we're not doing enough. That's what she would probably say. We're doing good, but you need to do more.
To learn more about how you can help VRS do more, please visit vrsga.org or call 770-432-7280.